Hi, this is Mr. Swanson here, and we are going to be doing the decomposition of baking soda lab here in my garage. And I will be going through this lab report, but before we get going, it's up to you to read the background information and do the pre-lab questions. So if you haven't done those two steps first, please pause the video and come back after you've done that, because that will make sure everything else makes a lot more sense. So pause the video now and come back after you've done the first page. Okay, now that you've done the pre-lab, we're going to take a look and I'm going to help you fill out this data table. And so I do not have a Bunsen burner at my house, but I do have this nice camp stove. I do have an evaporating dish. And of course, I have some baking soda, because baking soda is used in everyone's house to help things rise. And so there's going to be some carbon dioxide produced in this reaction. But our goal is to figure out, how much did we start with? How much did we end with? And using stoichiometry, we can figure out the identity of what the product is at the very end. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to take the mass of this first. Then I'm going to put some baking soda in and retake the mass of it. Then I'm going to heat it up until it stops the reaction. And then I'm going to reweigh it, and you're going to find your final mass. So let's begin. So the first thing I want to do is turn on the scale, let it zero out, put the weighing dish on the scale, and record the mass of 44.49. So I'm going to write that down, 44.49 grams. Okay, so this is where we are. And then, because I have that mass, I can take it off. And I'm going to be adding some baking soda to it. And this does not matter really how much we use. So I'm just going to get enough so I can accurately measure the difference between the start and the end. I don't have a nice scoopula here. Let's see how much I have so far. Okay, I think this is going to be good. Okay, so I'm going to put this back here and weigh that. It's zeroed out from before. So it looks like I have 2.602 grams. So I've added 2.602 grams of baking soda. So you would record that here. Now the next thing I need to do is light this stove. So I'm going to turn on the gas, turn on the flame. And just like a Bunsen burner, I'm going to adjust this to get as much oxygen in there as possible to get this nice blue flame. And then I'm going to put it wherever it kind of sits nicely. And then we're going to heat this, and we're going to come back to it when it's done, and we're going to see what the mass is at the very end. So join us for the second video to figure out the end weight. All right, so you're back, and for the last 5 to 10 minutes, we've been heating this, and there was no color change, so it doesn't really look that different. And I don't want to poke it because then I might I don't want to poke it because then I might remove some of it. But hopefully you can see it's kind of hardened up. It's no longer a powder. And I'm not going to tell you the observations of what happened during it because that might give it away, of what happened, but I've now let it cool enough that I can safely put it on my scale. Now normally you wouldn't want to put anything hot on a scale because that's going to warp it and totally damage it, but my scale happens to have a glass top where I can put something hot on it. It's cooled down most of the way. So I'm going to take this and put it now on the scale. And I have the reading of 45.780. So I'm going to record on the data table 45.78, okay? And now you're going to have to figure out how much product there was and then perform the rest of the calculations here on the sheet based on the starting amount and the ending amount. And so what you're going to want to see is this is your experimental value. You want to see with stoichiometry what theoretically you should have gotten. Okay, so theoretical is based off the math, actual or experimental is from the experiment. So you're going to do this, compare it to these values, and figure out, does baking soda undergo reaction 1, 2, or 3? So come back to class when you finish, and if you have any questions, and we'll talk about it more from there.